get a lot of people asking me, where should I move when moving to Tampa? If you're moving from St. Pete to Tampa, that's different. Clearwater to Tampa, Tampa to Clearwater, vice versa. It's very different. Each area is its own little section. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down through a lifestyle report. That way we can look at the numbers. And then when you decide on an area where you'd like to go based on numbers, you can go there and make your own judgment, and you can have this in the back pocket and say, okay, this might work for my family. That might cut you down some time. So we'll go through all the numbers here. When it comes to Tampa, what we're going to do is we're going to look at just downtown. Right? So breaking down in downtown here, the services, what is going on downtown? How close is it? And when you look at the report here, we're going to look at, it's going to be on a metric of 1 to 10, right? So obviously 10 being the best, 1 being not so great. So we'll start out with just services. What's going on? Where are the things to do in Tampa, downtown Tampa? Right? We're not talking Channel Side, we're just talking downtown. So we'll start with access to groceries. There's a good amount of grocery stores in the downtown area. We got Sprouts is my personal favorite, Publix, multiple Publix is down there. We got Duckweed and a few others when it comes to the area. Very close walking distance. I actually walk to a couple of different ones to get a pub sub, or is it to get a bunch of supplies that I need. It's very easy to do. So access to groceries, we're looking at a 7.2 out of 10, which is a pretty good score. Okay. Now, this is one that is going to be changing here in just a moment. As Tampa continues to develop shopping, we have it at a 5.9 out of 10, which sounds a little silly. You think Tampa, very affluent, very nice, people are trendy, nice things. Well, in the area that we're looking at, we don't have too many stores yet. There's a lot of development that's coming on down here in Tampa, and that will soon change, right? So currently, right now, we have it at a 5.9 out of 10. Hopefully, we can get to the 8 or the 9 area there. So we're going to look at access to restaurants. Tampa has terrific restaurants. We got a bunch of Michelin star restaurants. We have a couple of my favorite, like Jackson's Bistro right on the water there. I love Roca. I love Ulele. It's absolutely, it's beautiful. And the food is really, 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 really good too. You have a whole bunch of other ones that you can walk through the area. So we got a really good mix of restaurants, and that's just in downtown, like I said. So we're going to be looking at an 8.5 out of 10, which is a very good score. Right? Access to coffee shops. I think that there are so many coffee shops over here in Tampa. You got the big ones like Kava and Starbucks, but there's a couple of really nice niche coffee shops that you can go to. I love Victory. I love what is it? Beans and Butter. Flatbread and Butter. Love Flatbread and Butter. Right over here. Love that one. And so on. So coffee shops. That's a pretty good score of 7.2 out of 10, which is great. Okay. We'll move over to the next category. We're looking at character. What's it really like to live down here? So the first one here is quiet, and I'll be honest with you, it's 1.3. If I could give it a solid 1, I would have. Tampa's not quiet. At night, it can be a little bit, but Tampa is a vibrant city. You got noise from the music. There's always events going on. There's fireworks that happen quite frequently. People are partying. People are having fun. It's not annoying enough to not be able to like enjoy your night, but it is loud. It's a city. It's a main city, and there are things going on. So it's a 1.3 out of 10. Parks, there are a good amount of parks. You got McDill, you got everything going on down here. There's Curtis Hickson right here. There's a terrific amount of parks, and they're very walkable, and that's where main events go on there too. So it's a terrific area when it comes to the parks, and that's going to be at an 8.0 out of 10, right? Which great score. Vibrant, I think this kind of goes into what quiet is. Vibrant is 5.2 out of 10. I would say, in my personal opinion, it would be more like an 8 or so. Vibrant, like I said, everything's going on down here. There's always something going on. There's typically a party. There's always an event. At the same time, there's always the Riverwalk, and that's a constant where if you're staying off main roads, if you just want to get out and walk, enjoy the sunshine and the weather that we have, I mean, the Riverwalk's right there, and that adds to the vibrancy and that adds to the energy of the city, right? Nightlife is a 6.8 out of 10. We're right next to the University of Tampa. There's a good amount of college kids in the area here. There's always a convention going on, which is really cool because you'll have things like the comic book convention. You'll have an aerospace and defense convention going on. You'll have the Tampa runs. You have the Gasparilla festivals. You have everything going on. And a lot of it is centered around where the convention center is. Plus, there's a big bay right next to it and a lot of open space. And then there's event space. There's Sparkman's Wharf. There's Armature Works. There's Embered on top of Armature Works. There's countless rooftop bars. There's, like I said, the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk, there's things that you can go to by just staying on the Riverwalk. This is one of those cities where you don't necessarily need to drive. It's very much set up to drive, but if you want to stay on the Riverwalk alone, you can go all the way from Armature Works all the way down to Sparkman's Wharf and have a terrific night with you and your friends, having a great time. The next one here, we'll get into transportation. Pedestrian friendly. Honestly, it's extremely pedestrian friendly. It's very much set up to walk, in my opinion, when it comes to getting on that main stretch. But like I've mentioned this 2 times already, and this is going to be the third, the Riverwalk. I use the Riverwalk so much. Absolutely so much. Whenever you want to get to something like that, you can cut through the city. But when you have this amazing, nominated year after year as the nation's best Riverwalk, why would you not use it? It's terrific. Pedestrian friendly is a 7.3 out of 10, which is a terrific score. Car friendly, it's really easy, in my opinion, to get around downtown Tampa. The streets are laid out really well. You know where the one-ways are. They don't sneak up on you. You have plenty of time to change lanes. It's a little bit smaller than you think, so it's really easy to get into downtown and then to get out of downtown, in my opinion. And when you get there, there's a good amount of parking still. The parking lots haven't been developed yet, so when you get downtown, you do have a place that's relatively close to wherever you're trying to get to. And if you don't find on-street parking or maybe a block or two away parking, there's typically a parking garage that you can always dip into real quick. Some of the places have free parking for 20 minutes. Typically, it's pay to park wherever you go. Plus, they use the Park Mobile apps, which are pretty handy, but like I said, you're also paying for parking. Transit friendly, I would say it's about 6.8 out of 10. I don't see too many buses, honestly. It's mostly cars, right? It's mostly cars, it's mostly walking. I don't see too many buses on the road. You do see them. One thing that's nice about that is we do have a trolley system that kind of covers more through Channelside up to Ybor, but it does run through downtown, and you can definitely take that to get around there too. Plus, it's fun. It's very loud. They blow their whistle all the time because we have to be safe. But it's nice to know that you can take that too. So it's pretty easy. I would agree with the 6.8 out of 10 score there. And cycling friendly, I'm kind of surprised on this one. Cycling friendly is only a 6.5 out of 10. Honestly, I really think that would probably be more of like an 8. An 8 out of 10 or so. Riding your bike is so easy. You see everybody on the scooters, you see everybody on the e-bikes, you see everybody riding their bike, walking, very active. You can get around out inside of downtown here pretty easily on bikes. And then the second you get out, you can do the same thing out there too. So honestly, I think that might be the one score that's a little bit surprising when it comes to everything else here. But 6.5 out of 10 is a pretty good score in my eyes. So how will I get around town? So this has changed up just a little bit when it comes to it. The cycling friendly score is a 6.3, but 2% of riders ride the bicycle, have a higher metro population average of 4.3, which is great. It's a car friendly score of 8.8 out of 10. That's great. 66% of people drive, which you'll run into that, right? Pedestrian friendly, 7.3 out of 10. Okay, that's great. It's very friendly for pedestrians. And transit friendly, like I said, we're talking 5.1. Okay, not too bad. A little bit different numbers than what it was, but we're talking about the same metrics pretty much. So who lives nearby? Now, this is pretty easy when it comes to like an overall breakdown of the area. So we're looking at estimated population of about 2,400 people that actually live in downtown. A lot of people are renting. It's about an 80-20 split, 80% towards renting, 20% towards owning. The house composition is going to be one person. It's a very single city. You're looking at about 63% of people are single in Tampa. So hey, if you need a date, this is a pretty good area to go to. Me, I am married, so there's that. And then it's only 30% of people who are occupying when it comes to 2. So it's a 63 single, well, 63 one person, I should add, and 30% for 2, and then 7% for 3 people, and so on. So there are shared rents, which is, that's fine. So population by age group, we're going to be looking at the majority is going to be about 39% are going to be young people, which makes sense. It is a downtown that kind of is on par with some of the national trends that we're seeing, but it's 39% of 20 to 34, and then 28% of 35 to 49. And then you got 13% of 50 to 64, 10%, 65 to 79, and so on and so forth, right? Not too bad. The city is meant for kind of the youth. I know with all the development is really coming along here. It's kind of aiming towards that, but there's things for all ages through the city. There's a really good amount of kid-friendly things to do over by the Strass Center here. We have 2 parks. Each park has its own jungle gym. There's a dog park right there. There's 2 splash pads. You can hit a splash pad and a jungle gym while you're walking to Eulalie and Armature Works, right? The splash pad's right there. There's big open green space for people to run around, throw a ball with a dog, play with your kids. There's an amphitheater right there. It's covered, it's a covered tree space. It's really terrific. So there's really something for everybody around here, which is great, right? So the employment rate, we're looking at 95%. So we're dealing with a pretty good bunch when it comes to the employment rate downtown. So if you're downtown, it's a little bit more expensive when it comes to the surrounding areas. So typically you are employed, and honestly, there's quite a bit of good jobs here, and there's a lot of remote work, because whenever you can work wherever you want to, why not choose a terrific weather state like Florida, and why not choose a vibrant town like Tampa? So the level of education that we're going to be getting into, we're going to be looking at 38% bachelor degrees, 26% postgraduate degrees, and 16% post-secondary degree. So that's pretty good when it comes to it. We're talking about right up here. Okay. And this kind of proves what I was talking about a little bit. We're going to get into income. So right over here, for income, we're going to be looking at 31% is making $100,000 to $150,000, which that's pretty on par with what you kind of see in the area here. It is a little bit more affluent bunch. It's a lot of high-end things. You see a lot of that lifestyle, good cars, kind of the housing matches that. So if that is your style, you have a terrific spot. Maybe if that's not your style, we might need to find a surrounding area, not in downtown. But I live in downtown, and it's really kind of worth it when it comes to what you get for where you can walk to everything. So even if you are paying a little bit extra when it comes to your rent or owning, you get that money back by not constantly driving your car. You save on gas, and the events going on, you don't ever have to pay for parking. You don't have to, because you're already down here. So it's kind of it's a loose, but it is a good trade-off, right? So we're looking at 31%. 100,000 to 150, 17% are making a lot more than that, and 7% are typically making the average of kind of that regular income when it comes to it. So the next one here is housing. What are we actually going to be living in? Well, we're in downtown, and there is 97% of it is going to be large apartment buildings. That's 20 to 50 units. So you're looking at the big apartment buildings, right? That's 97% of it. We are in downtown, right? 2% are small apartment buildings, and that's 5 to 19 units, pretty much in the same building. And then 1% are row homes, townhouses, twin homes, some people call it, but they're really all kind of that same thing. And it's 3 or more homes joined with a common wall. You can see them in 8, you can see them in 12. Typically, they're at least 3 to qualify for that. So it kind of makes sense when you are looking at downtown and how that fits to other cities. Okay, so getting into kind of the meat and potatoes here, what is the market really like? Okay, so the median sales price, we're looking at $404,500, and that's actually a 2.5% decrease change over the last 12 months. Right? We do expect that to change here as things are slowly coming on the market here, getting into spring. We have the Pendry. Pendrys are $1 million properties. We have Tampa 1 coming up. We have We have 4 other new construction buildings that are being built right now as well. We have the residencies at Element and everything coming up. These are all massive deals, and they're all being built right downtown. And Water Street Developing, as more of their properties come along and come alive, you're just going to see more and more and more people living when it comes to that too. So it's a really good amount when it comes to it. We look at homes sold and we only see 38, which is kind of odd. You'd think in a downtown there'd be more, but a lot of people buy and then they stay, right? Which is great. Only 38 people have bought and sold in downtown. Okay, that's great. We see a lot of turnover in the rental area, but when it comes to owning, if you are buying downtown here, you typically stay, which is cool. That's really great. That shows that people actually like where they live when it comes to it. So the median sale price per square foot is $520 per square foot. That's an 8.6% decrease over the last 12 months. I wish that was a little bit lower, right? Because then that shows that things are a little bit more affordable for the average buyer. Right now we are dealing with a shortage in housing that you can own in downtown. A lot of it is rental. Like I said before, it's 80% rental and 20% owning. I wish there was a little bit more inventory when it came to downtown, so I'm really pro the development that's happening right downtown to get people more housing in the area, so more I would say normal buyers can move in, not people that are looking at the super high end, which the super high end is here and it's being built. Just wish it was a little bit more affordable when it came to it. So median construction years home oversold, which is 2007. So that's really when the last boom kind of happened down here too, which is cool. That's absolutely great. So this is kind of a better breakdown of what's been happening in the prices here. Okay, so we really saw a spike in the first month here, but that kind of happens each year. You can go back to March, you can see the end of it here. But if we look at the last months here, March, we have a little bit of spike because that's coming down through spring market. And then we hit May where things kind of even off, right? November, okay, it's a little bit of a slow point of the year. And then boom, we start the year off hot right in January again, where we see prices do spike, which is very similar to what you see in other markets here too. Starting the year, hitting into spring market, we hit typically higher prices. So when it comes to a breakdown of the area, this is the overall of what I'm really consider to be downtown, right? And when it comes to it, I would say that this is channel side, so I wouldn't really consider this to be downtown. I really think of downtown, I think of everything from Benchmark all the way up, and then over to 275 and then down. And typically you could even consider the Roca and down, right? But that's a little bit more of an extension. So if you really want to hit just a city, I'm thinking over here and down this way. So this is the area that we're talking about. If you are looking to buy or sell a home in this area, even if you're looking to rent, I can definitely help you in all aspects. And I really appreciate you taking the time with me to get to know the area. What we plan on doing is I plan on doing these breakdowns where we look at segmented areas of Tampa Bay and we can get into the breakdown. For instance, if we were to look at Davis Island, what's actually going on in Davis Island? Why is this so much? What's going on in Hyde Park? What's going on in St. Pete, right? Let's focus on St. Pete. Let's go all the way over to, what's going on over here in Clearwater, right? What's going on up in Wesley Chapel? I'm happy to break down the areas where it comes to it. All of this, I'm happy to break down in further videos. If you have any suggestions, shoot them in the comments, and hopefully we can get to that area where we just give a good look at what's actually going on. Maybe I won't even prep for some of the videos, and we can look at the numbers together so we can get the genuine reactions when it comes to it. But if you want me to dive deeper, shoot them in the comments. Give me a like, give me a follow. It does definitely help. If not, I hope to earn it next time. And hopefully I can help you buy your home, your second home, or we can help you relocate. Thank you.